Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be choosing my July TBR from TBR Prompts. I haven't done this in a while. I think the last time I did this was February and I don't really stick to a TBR as much as I should. Right now I'm in a reading slump and so I feel like a guided TBR and like books that I want to read will help me be motivated into reading a little bit more. So we're going to be just choosing some prompts. I might choose some rereads if the prompts correlate with that, because whenever I'm in a slump I always like to reread my favorite books or books that I really enjoy just to like get me back into that mood. Same with like rewatching comfort movies. It's just like a comfort book and I just need to be in a story that I already know. So if a reread that I am itching to reread comes in and it like plays into the prompts, I will be choosing those. This whole shelf is dedicated to books that I haven't read yet, and so this is my physical TBR, and then I also have some books on my Kindle that I could read, so I'm gonna be choosing a mix of all of those. Here we go. We're gonna choose, I think I'm gonna choose 4 because I do have a book club book that I'm getting to. I think last month in June I constituted that as a slump and I think I read 4 books. I used to average around 9 or 10 books a month, and so this slump really hit hard. I read 5 books in June, and so I think if I choose 4 and then have one of my book club books for July, I'll be set. That's 5 books in July as well. So here we go. Ooh. First one, a book with less than 300 pages. Don't worry about me, don't worry about me, don't worry about me. These look pretty short. My Year of Rest and Relaxation. Yes, this is less than 300 pages. 288. Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. 305, so that doesn't count. Burst by Mary Otis is 263, so that counts. And then Free Will by Elise Draper. It's 230. I do not want to read this. I'm not really in the mood for a fantasy. This is the paranormal fantasy romance type of beat, so I'm not really in the mood for that. It's either Burst or My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I really don't know anything about either of them. Our narrator should be happy, shouldn't she? She's young, thin, pretty, and a recent Columbia graduate, but works an easy job at a hip art gallery, lives in an apartment on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, paid for, like the rest of her needs, by her inheritance. But there's a hole in her heart, and it isn't just the loss of her parents or the way her Wall Street boyfriend treats her, or her sadomasochistic relationship with her best friend Reba. It's the year 2000 in a city aglitter with wealth and possibility. What could be so terribly wrong? Both tender and blackly funny, merciless and compassionate. I could read that. Or Burst is about a deeply moving novel about becoming and unbecoming our mothers, absorbing the past and bursting into our own futures. Told from interwoven perspectives with the lyrical prose, this poignant story explores addiction, artistic ambition, and the complex relationship between Viva and her mother Charlotte. I'm kind of leaning towards My Year of Rest and Relaxation. Yeah, I'm gonna read this. This is gonna be my choice for the first prompt. Next prompt. Get a good one. Okay. A book with a person on the cover. I kind of do want to read that. So here are some physical TBR options, and then let me check my Kindle. Here's my Kindle library. I have Confessions by Catherine Airy. I could choose that one. But I also have Colony by Annika Norlin. Anika. This one, don't really want to read this one right now because I'm reading something really similar in Rest and Relaxation, so I don't think I really want to read that right now. I also have Daphne du Maurier, Rebecca. I'm not in the mood for that one as well. I'm not in the mood for Summer Sisters by Julie Bloom. I'm definitely not going to read A Little Life. I could be in the mood for Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Last Hours trilogy. Let me check some rereads. Or I was thinking of doing Talking at Night by Claire Daveley. I really want to reread this one. But are we counting cartoon people? I mean, she's a cartoon, but she's more like realistic. And this is like less person. So the Chain of Gold is about love cuts deeper than any blade. Cordelia Carstairs is a shadow hunter, a warrior trained since childhood to battle demons. When her father is accused of a terrible crime, she travels to London in hopes of preventing her family's ruin. There, Cordelia's friendship with James and Lucy Herringdale draw her into the world of glittering ballrooms and supernatural salons. All the while, Cordelia must hide her secret love for James, who is sworn to marry someone else. But Cordelia's new life is blown apart when demon attacks devastate London. Now trapped in a quarantine city, Cordelia's friends discover that their connection to a dark legacy has gifted them with incredible powers and forced a brutal choice that will reveal the cruel price of being a hero. I think I'm gonna put this on the TBR. I miss being in the Shadowhunter world, and I didn't know anything about like the Last Hours trilogy. I've read a lot of the Mortal Instruments. I also watched the TV show, brushed up on that knowledge, and then I read Will Jem and Tessa's books. I don't know what that's called. Wow, I don't know. I'm gonna put this on the TBR. Next TBR prompt. A book with a TV/movie adaptation. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. The camera keeps moving. I'm charging literally all my batteries simultaneously, and every time one dies, I have to put the other one in, and it's not fully charged. But yeah. I think I kind of want to do this then. What else do I have? Yeah, this is my best bet. I don't know if I'm gonna actually read it. I'm gonna try my hardest to read it this month, but we're gonna do Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I know that Alfred Hitchcock has I think it's 1940 or 1950. I think it ends with the 0. Watch me be wrong, but he has a adaptation of Rebecca, and I know that he won like an Oscar for that movie, and so I've always wanted to watch that movie because I do enjoy Hitchcock films, but I have to read the book first. So finally I'm gonna read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I know that this inspired Taylor Swift's Tolerated, and so I know kind of like that based on the song. I don't really know much after that. I know that Rebecca is the female main character's husband's ex-dead wife. So let's read the summary. In Monte Carlo, our heroine is swept off her feet by a dashing widower, Maxim de Winter, and a sudden proposal of marriage. Orphaned and working as a lady's maid, she can barely believe her luck. It is only when they arrive at Manderley, her husband's cavernous estate on the Cornish coast, she realizes how vast a shadow his late wife Rebecca will cast over their lives, introducing a lingering evil that threatens to destroy their love from beyond the grave. Frequently adapted for television, radio, and theater and film, most notably in 1940. I knew it! Alfred Hitchcock, whose Rebecca received the Academy Award for Best Picture. Oh my god. And oh my god, 2020 Netflix film adaptation of Lily James and Armie Hammer. Wow. Wait, that's crazy. I'm excited to read this now. Now we're choosing one last prompt, and then I'm gonna share it to you my book club's pick. I'm choosing this one, not the one that fell on the floor. This one. Huh? What does this mean? Oh, a book as old as me. I could not read my own handwriting. I was like, I thought it said a book as DD as me. What's that mean? Okay, a book as old as me. I am 21 years old. Are there any books that were published in 2004 on my TBR? Nope. Firefly Lane was 2008. Nope. Summer Sisters was 2006. Don't think I have any books published in 2004. So I think I'm gonna have to redraw. Our last prompt is now, goodness gracious, a book that starts with a random letter. Oh, okay. We're gonna do a random letter generator A through Z, and then we're gonna pick a book that starts with that letter. Okay, I'm scared. Looking like it's gonna be K. It's K. Do I have any books that start with K? I have one that starts with K, but I'm reading it right now, so it can't count. I might just have to respin. I'm gonna respin the letter, and then we're just gonna do another one. Sorry. I was gonna choose Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I think it's Gillig. But I'm reading that right now. I'm like halfway through it, so that can't count as a TBR. We're just respinning again. Z? Okay. Z, holy smokes. I don't have a Z on here. We might have to do it again. Let me see if like my want to read, I have any Z's or anything like that on my Goodreads. No, I don't. We're just gonna have to spin again. I like this prompt. And so I'm gonna keep spinning until I see something. This is the last time, and then I'm gonna choose a different prompt. Looking like G. Okay, I can do G. I feel like G is an easy one. Nope, The Great Gatsby, nope. It just might not. It just might not work. Might just not work. We're gonna choose a different prompt. I just can't deal with that right now, and so. New prompt. Okay, here, this one. Plant/flower on the cover. I got this one last time. I'm gonna do Wayward by Amelia Hart. This is a like historical fantasy type of book, and so this is what we're choosing. 2019, under the cover of darkness, Kate flees London for a wayward cottage inherited by a great aunt she barely remembers. With its tumbling ivy and an overgrown garden, the cottage is worlds away from the abusive partner who tormented Kate, as she begins to suspect that her great aunt had a secret, one that lurks in the bones of the cottage, hidden ever since the witch hunts of the 17th century. 1619, Alpha is awaiting trial for the murder of a local farmer who was stampeded to death by his herd. When Alpha was a girl, her mother taught her their magic, one rooted in the deep knowledge of the natural world, but unusual women have always been deemed dangerous, and as the evidence for witchcraft is set against Alpha, she knows it would take all her powers to maintain her freedom. 1942, as World War II rages, Violet is trapped on her family's grand, crumbling estate. Straitjacketed by a societal convention, she longs for the robust education her brother receives, and her mother, long deceased, who was rumored to have gone mad before her death. The only traces Violet has of her are of a locket bearing the initial W, and the word wayward scratched into the baseboards of her basement. Weaving together the stories of 3 extraordinary women across 5 centuries, Wayward is an enthralling novel of female resilience and the transformative powers of the natural world. A witch book. So I'm okay with that. Here are the books that we are going to be reading this month. And then also for my book club book, show you what we chose. We chose Sunburned by Chloe Michelle Haworth. It's the early 1990s in the Irish village of Crossmoor. Lucy feels out of place. Despite her fierce friendship, she's always felt this way, and the conventional path of marriage and motherhood doesn't appeal to her at all. Not even with the handsome and doting Martin, her closest childhood friend. Lucy begins to make sense of herself during the long hot summer when a spark of her school friend Susanna escalates to an all-consuming infatuation and very quickly to a desperate and devastating love. Fearful of rejection from her small and conservative community, Lucy begins living a double life, hiding the most honest parts of herself in stolen moments with Susanna. But with the end of school and the opportunities to leave Crossmoor looming, Lucy must choose between two places, two people, and two futures, each as terrifying as the other. But only one can offer her real happiness. Sunburn is an astute and tender portrayal of first love, adolescent anxiety, and the realities of growing up in a small town where tradition holds people tightly in its grasp. That's one book that we're going to be reading. The first prompt I picked was a book with less than 300 pages, and I chose My Year of Rest and Relaxation. Next, I chose a book with a person on the cover, and I chose Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. Next, I have a book with the TV/movie adaptation, and I chose Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. Lastly, the prompt I picked was Plant/Flower on the cover, and then I chose Wayward. We have a historical fantasy with witchcraft. We have a classic. Next, another historical fantasy. This is a Shadowhunters book, and I love the Shadowhunters like universe, so we have this. And then we have a literary fiction book, which is My Year of Rest and Relaxation. And also another literary fiction romance book with Sunburn. So those are the 5 books I'm going to be reading in July. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully this pulls me out of my reading slump. Hopefully I pray that it does. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on all my socials, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!